Dresden was the jewel of Germany through its music, its architecture, its art. Its Renaissance city center had no military significance, which is why it had been untouched.
We were definitely the town which would never be bombed. There was no point. So we had absolute confidence nothing would ever happen to Dresden.
But in February '45, the Russians were moving relentlessly into Germany while the Allies were tied up along the Rhine. Churchill was eager to make a major military point. The U.S. went along. The plans for the destruction of Dresden emerged from the British Bomber Command under the code name Operation Thunderclap. The idea was to cause so much death and destruction in one place that it would shatter civilian morale nationwide. What did they tell you on the briefing for the mission? Was it anything unusual?
No, it was supposed to be the center of, well, they called it a military transport communications target because of the influx of German refugees and army units fleeing from the Russians, fleeing westward from the Russians, and so the town would be full. And by bombing it, it would disrupt communications, and we were told assist the war effort.
On the evening of February 13th, Royal Air Force Lancaster bombers lifted off to begin the attack on Dresden. Ultimately, 1,300 British and American bombers were involved in 3 separate raids. They encountered virtually no resistance.
We knew that the bomb loads were mainly of incendiaries, and therefore it was obviously going to be a severe fire rate. I can remember saying to the chaps in my crew, oh my God, think of those poor devils down below.
It seemed to be like hell on earth. One detonation after another. We started praying and crying, the children and everything. Nobody could get out from their cellars anymore. Everybody was trapped where it was awful. We walked then further down to our relatives, but every house was burning. And everywhere we walked just over the bodies.
But even then, it wasn't over. U.S. bombers arrived the next day, again bombing the old city center, where little was left standing or alive.
It was not one house. You couldn't hardly identify where it was. And everywhere the corpses and shriveled together from the heat. People never think anything like this could ever exist.
Officially, there are 30,000 people in this mass grave. However, because there were nearly 500,000 unregistered refugees in Dresden at that time, authoritative British officials put the death toll at 135,000. That would make Dresden the bloodiest air raid of all, worse even than Hiroshima.
It seems now barbaric. Steelworks, arms works, yes. Armies, yes, but what I would call 80–90% civilian populations, no.
It was a straightforward order, actually from cabinet level, that we should bomb Dresden and stop the railway trains, the transport getting through.
The arguments about the efficiency versus the morality of the bombing of population centers remain unresolved. However, it can be said that the British and American destruction of this city 40 years ago was not their finest hour. Barrie Dunsmore, ABC News, Dresden.